This is a story of one bar, one fight, one human. Every alien race that night learned to fear us. Let me introduce you to the Nexus Station Cantina. This intergalactic establishment was a sanctuary for smugglers, pirates, mercenaries, and rogues from 40 different species. The Nexus Station Cantina was one big happy family of intergalactic scum. The cantina was smoky, dimly lit, and coated with enough biohazardous stains to make a civilized world gag. Here, patrons enjoyed the company of questionable characters while sipping their drinks and planning their next crime spree. Then Cain Murphy strolled in. He was just a regular guy, a human freighter pilot. He looked like any other spacer who wanted a drink after a long haul. And honestly, most people probably wouldn't give him a second glance. But let me tell you, there was something in his steely gaze that hinted at depths the regulars hadn't learned to recognize yet. Little did they know that this ordinary-looking human was about to teach them a very expensive lesson. Cain sauntered up to the bar, casually nursing his drink while casually observing the room. Now, he didn't look like he was looking for a fight, but the Zephyrians at a nearby table had already picked him out as their target. These guys were all about causing trouble. Their crystalline voices cut through the din of the cantina, mocking Cain. "Look at it," sneered their leader, a massive Zephyr with translucent skin that glowed with their species' amusement pattern. Walking upright like it thinks it belongs here with real sentience. "You humans are so predictable. You bring your primitive apes into a place like this, knowing full well it'll provoke the rest of us. I think it's time we gave this little monkey a taste of the Septimus Prime." Cain, though, he didn't seem to hear them. He just stood there calmly sipping his drink, watching them like a cat sizing up its prey. He wasn't scared, not even a little bit. The others roared their agreement, eager for a brawl. You see, Cain had dealt with racist jerks like the Zephyr plenty of times before. He knew exactly what they were all about. So instead of stooping to their level and getting angry, he just took his time and waited for the perfect moment to strike. Meanwhile, the Sci-Fi's continued their taunts, reveling in their own superiority. But they didn't notice the subtle shift in Cain's demeanor, how his body tensed slightly, how his eyes narrowed just a fraction. They were too busy planning their little attack to realize that they were about to make a huge mistake. And then it happened. The first Sci-Fi struck, aiming for a quick kill with a vicious kick intended to shatter Cain's skull, but it was like he predicted the move or something. Cain reacted instantly, stepping aside just enough to avoid the blow. And that split second was all he needed. In a flash, he was in the Sci-Fi's face, and the crowd gasped as they watched what happened next. In one swift move, Cain sent a sharp jab flying towards the Sci-Fi's throat. It was a move straight out of an ancient human fighting style, and it caught the Sci-Fi completely off guard. He never saw it coming. As the crowd watched in stunned silence, the Sci-Fi collapsed, clutching his throat, unable to breathe. The sight of their comrade falling like that sent a jolt of fear through the remaining Sci-Fi's. They hadn't expected such swift and brutal retaliation. They'd thought they had the upper hand, but now they were starting to get worried. But the Sapphire's hesitation only fueled Cain's determination. With the ferocity of a cornered animal, he went after the next attacker, delivering a flurry of blows that knocked the Sapphire off his feet. He didn't hold back. Each punch landed with the force of a battering ram, sending shockwaves through the Sapphire's body. It was a display of raw power that left the rest of the Sci-Fi's trembling. As Cain turned his attention to the last Sapphire standing, the entire scene unfolded like a blur of motion. With each passing moment, Cain's assault intensified, leaving the Sapphires crumpled and defeated on the ground. It was a spectacle of strength and agility that left everyone in the cantina mesmerized. Word spread quickly throughout the station, and soon the whole establishment was buzzing with anticipation. People flocked to the cantina, eager to witness the spectacle firsthand. The hype surrounding the incident attracted the attention of those seeking entertainment and those who wanted to see if the rumors were true. The cantina became the center of attention. Amidst the clamor and curiosity, one figure remained a picture of calm amidst the storm: Cain Murphy, the human who had captivated everyone's attention with his display of strength and skill. He stood as a beacon of composure, his presence radiating an air of quiet confidence that belied the chaos that surrounded him. As the crowd swelled and the energy in the cantina reached a fever pitch, Cain stood patiently waiting for his next challenge. He was ready to face whatever came his way. His stance was firm, his eyes focused, and his muscles tensed, prepared for action. He was the calm eye of the storm, unwavering in the face of the tempest. And then they came, a group of Kree pirates led by a massive hulking individual named Grognak the Ruthless. These guys were notorious for their brutality, and they had a reputation for starting trouble wherever they went. They approached Cain's table with arrogance oozing from their pores, their eyes gleaming with the thrill of the hunt. "Human," Grognak snarled, his voice echoing with the rumble of an approaching storm. "We heard you were looking for a fight, and we were just the ones to give it to you." Cain lifted his gaze to meet Grognak's, his expression betraying none of the emotions raging within him. In that moment, the tension in the cantina thickened. It was as if the very air crackled with anticipation. The crowd hushed, their eyes glued to the exchange between Cain and Grognak. The silence was deafening, broken only by the pounding of hearts and the ragged breaths of anticipation. Grognak let out a guttural laugh, revealing teeth bared in a snarl that could curdle milk. "So be it, human," he thundered. "Let's see if you can withstand the might of the cry." And with that, the Kree launched their attack, their massive forms hurtling towards Cain. They came at him from all angles, their claws flashing like scimitars under the dim cantina lights. They were a whirlwind of aggression, their blows raining down upon Cain with the force of a hailstorm. The cries and the clangs of metal on metal echoed through the cantina as Cain fought valiantly. He weaved and bobbed, parrying and thrusting with a skill that defied expectations. But the cries were relentless, their stamina seemingly endless. As the fight raged on, the crowd's cheers grew louder, their excitement reaching a crescendo. This was more than a fight. It was a spectacle, a display of raw power and endurance. Despite the odds stacked against him, Cain stood firm. He was a bulwark against the Kree onslaught, an immovable object resisting the relentless tide. His eyes blazing with determination, he fought not just for himself, but for every human who had ever been underestimated. With each block, with each riposte, he proved that size and strength were no match for skill and heart. It was during that chaotic dance of combat that the crowd witnessed something extraordinary. Cain's movements, far from being mere acts of self-defense, revealed a deep understanding of his opponents, their strengths and weaknesses. He seemed to anticipate their moves, countering and attacking with uncanny precision. It was as if he were reading the Kree's minds, predicting their actions before they even occurred. "They underestimated the wrong species," whispered a spectator, his voice hoarse with excitement. But the Kree were skilled warriors. Their claws raked across Cain's defenses, leaving deep gashes that stained the cantina floor crimson. Blood trickled down his arms, mingling with the grime and sweat, testament to the intensity of the battle. Despite the pain, Cain's resolve only hardened. His breathing grew steadier, his movements more precise. He was entering a state of flow, a realm where pain and fatigue had no hold over him. Then came the shift in the tide. As if sensing Cain's growing dominance, the Kree faltered. Their attacks, once fierce and unrelenting, became hesitant. They couldn't understand it, but they felt it, a growing dread that whispered of impending doom. What happened next was nothing short of spectacular. In a move that seemed straight out of a legend, Cain executed a maneuver that left the Kree stunned and the crowd gasping in unison. It was as if time itself had stopped. The cantina fell silent, the roar of the crowd giving way to stunned silence. All eyes were on Cain, who stood amidst the fallen Kree, his chest heaving, his eyes blazing with triumph. The silence stretched, amplifying the thud of his heavy boots on the cantina floor. It was a moment pregnant with anticipation, a tableau frozen in time. Then the applause erupted, thundering through the cantina like a tidal wave. People rose from their seats, their faces a mixture of awe and disbelief. Cheers and whistles filled the air, echoing the sentiment that resonated through the room. They had just witnessed something extraordinary, a testament to human resilience and strength out in the annals of the Nexus Station Cantina. The tale of Cain's victory was seared into memory. The bar, stained with the stories of countless battles, now bore the scars of Cain's triumph. The cheers subsided, leaving behind a hush that held a hint of reverence. The cantina, once a hub of boisterous revelry, now bore witness to a moment that transcended mere fisticuffs. It had become a stage for human resilience, a monument to one man's indomitable spirit. That night in the Nexus Station Cantina, Cain Murphy didn't just fight. He painted a masterpiece of human grit, a saga of strength and strategy that resonated with every sentient being in that room. He didn't just win a fight. He orchestrated a symphony of survival, proving that the melody of victory could be composed even amidst the harshest of chords. As the crowd dispersed, the gravity of what had transpired sunk in. It was more than a fight. It was a revelation. In the grand theater of the cosmos, Cain had shown that the human species wasn't just another player. It was a force to be reckoned with. And as the echoes of the applause faded into the vastness of space, one truth blazed across the galaxy. Humans don't back down. We adapt, we overcome, and we remember. And if you like this story, stay tuned for more.